Hi, everybody. My name is Phoenix Kawamoto. I am the Community Education Coordinator for the town of New Paltz, the Office for Community Wellness. Um, I'm really happy to be doing this video, which is very different from what folks who are familiar with following us on Facebook see me do pretty much on a weekly basis, which are 1 to 2 minute announcements about upcoming events, trainings, resources that are available through the OCW, which is how I like to say it shorthand, because Office for Community Wellness gets very long and repetitive. So please, bear with me on that. I'm going to be using OCW probably a lot. But for those that are following the Facebook page are familiar with those types of weekly announcements, and I really encourage you, if you're not following that page and you're here in New Paltz or one of the surrounding townships, please do, so that you can take advantage of the different trainings and resources, events, activities, and so forth that are being coordinated through this office/department. I've had the privilege of serving this community as of March 26th this year. I'll be moving into year 13. And the first 5 years of my employment here was really through a federal substance abuse prevention grant that was awarded to the Greater New Paltz Community Partnership and the town of New Paltz. And I served during that time period, 2012 to 2016, as the project director. At the end of that grant, the community, requested that the town board consider creating a position to continue that work and expand upon it, and appoint me to that position. And the leadership of the town board, in conjunction with their outreach to the county legislature, county government, a position was created, Community Education Coordinator, and I was appointed to that position as of January 1st, 2017. Professionally, I have been in the field of substance abuse prevention and community coalition building and outreach for over 35 years now. And the last 13 of it, so to speak, has been solely focused on my work here for this community. And I love New Paltz, and I am so grateful for the opportunity to have this position and the ability to bring all of me, so to speak, and my different skill sets to the table to find the best ways to help people across all ages and backgrounds here in New Paltz. Now, to do that takes a lot of outreach, a lot of networking, and really reaching out across all 12 different sectors of this community, and not just the community, but the county, the Mid-Hudson region, and even New York State. So it has been really an important and challenging ride at times, right? We've all lived through a pandemic, and all that has brought to us during and after, as well as an opioid overdose epidemic that we are still working very hard to navigate with the resources that we have available to us. So there are many things that are you're going to hear about in this video, and it's really come about because as I am in the community and I'm meeting people at different events or activities, or even in Tops Market, I might be asked a question about, so, what do you do here? Like, what, besides this, what do you do here? And I proceed to venture in very carefully so as to not leave people overwhelmed with a very long list of what happens through the OCW. This video, each year at the end of a year and the beginning of a new one, I spend time reviewing and reflecting and looking and reworking my work plan, always looking for ways to make things better, right? What worked? How could we improve it? what are we missing, right? And how do we, and how do we move forward in this work? And it's work that takes time. It moves as a wonderful and powerful uh, American Buddhist teacher, Rev. Angel Kyoto Williams says, moving at the speed of trust. Um, my work here is really geared, right? And my commitment here is geared to be a source of assistance and support, as well as to help bring the community together. And at times such as these, where we are experiencing tremendous divisiveness, it really is key that we find ways to connect. In some writings, they talk about this is a time of another more silent epidemic, and that is the epidemic of loneliness. And when we look at the crises that we are experiencing across age groups that impact deaths by suicide, mental health crises and challenges, opioid use disorder, substance use disorder, intimate partner violence, these are very painful and difficult topics that need a space and need people who are working on these issues to really be able to make themselves the most available and have the community know what's available, let people know that there is help and that they are not alone. So the ways in which that kind of work is done is pretty diverse here in the New Paltz community. And you will see over the course of this video through some of the highlights of events, activities, and initiatives, as well as specific work teams like the New Paltz Opioid Overdose Prevention and Response Team, the Thriving Together Initiative. There are many, many, many things happening here in New Paltz. And this network of individuals and organizations, which is exceptional, and you're going to hear more about, is vast. And I think most people who live in New Paltz would say, yes, this is a community that people really pull together. It's a community of people who are generous, that it's, resource rich, so to speak, that there's a lot of different types of resources in the natural environment, in the arts, athletics, business, a thriving business community, tourism, right? There are many amazing things that are here, but I don't think people know just how many people are working behind the scenes to assist just this department in my work here in New Paltz. And that list continues to grow each year. And when I sit in my space here at the New Paltz Community Center or at the other office, which is in Town Hall on 52 Clearwater Road, and I actually tally up the different organizations, individuals, and so forth that are working with me throughout the year, that number continues to grow. And this year, when I tallied, I was really deeply moved. And I was like, I need to say a big thank you and let people know this quote unquote secret, which is just how many people support the work of the OCW. So with that, I'm going to go off screen and share with you kind of a one-page diagram that I created to help people understand the core functions of this department, and they're rooted in evidence-based prevention strategies. There are 7 evidence-based strategies. There are 4 that I'm able to focus on in my capacity as an individual and a prevention professional. And then there are others that are more um, environmentally based, and that's a whole other topic for discussion another time. But you will see in this diagram the richness of what those four foundational or cornerstone strategies provide as far as a framework for the work for this department, and all of what fits within that framework. Let's take a look at that. So as you look at this overview, you will see that there is a lot happening here. There are the four foundational prevention strategies that I mentioned earlier that really set the parameters for the work that is happening here as part of the Office for Community Wellness and as your community education coordinator. The first segment in the 12 o'clock position is provide information, which basically is about how can I utilize as many different information channels to help inform the community of what's happening, what's available, and how to access it. All right, so I do that, as you can see, from a number of different, through a number of different ways, utilizing video announcements, social media, a number of different websites that I've created and I manage the content for very specific areas of focus and need here in the community. Electronic information campaigns basically means that I use as much as possible very specific email groups so that I'm not inundating people's inboxes with a lot of information that may or may not be of interest or of importance to them. Parent programming is, as it sounds, putting together programs like Be in the Know and other types of events specifically to provide information for parents. Youth programming, also youth programming in the community, as well as school-based programs that are designed to provide information and resources. If we move to the 3 o'clock position, we have enhanced skills, which is about bringing in specific training to help give individuals the skills that they need for different areas of need that have already been identified or have been requested by folks in the community. And when I say folks, it can be parents, it could be family members, significant others, youth, professionals in the community, clergy, paraprofessionals, etc. So basically, when those needs become known, I work with a number of different providers and trainers to utilize resources and bring those trainings here free of charge. In the 6 o'clock place on this diagram is provide support. And provide support means activities, events, things that are that provide opportunities for pro-social, positive social involvement, interaction, connectivity, and those are substance-free events and are open to all. In the 9 o'clock position, reduce barriers and enhance access to services. This is a category that really speaks to how I work in tandem with many different work teams, provider teams, county task force groups to get a sense of what's happening, what's available. Are those services being utilized? Do people know about them? And what gets in the way? How do we help break down those barriers? How do we help spread the word? And how do we get people connected? Because many people don't know just how many resources are available to them and who are the best people to call. So this gives you a sense, right, of how my department is structured and the different areas of focus and concern that I'm working with within the OCW. So now that you've seen the programmatic overview for the Community Education Coordinator, you have a better sense of kind of what I like to call the 30,000 foot view. There's different vantage points, there's different views given the different layers of work that I do here. But that programmatic overview really helps show what the goals are and all of the different types of campaigns, events, programs, initiatives, and participation that I am working towards or a part of on a county and regional level as well. All of that is happening really out of view and behind the scenes, right? So what most of you experience here in the New Paltz community are a variety of different events, trainings, and they play their important role in either A, providing you information, providing training, right? Providing support through different events, family fun activities, holiday hoopla, recovery fest, right? All of these now take on, I hope for you, a different, more comprehensive meaning, right? In the moment, they are hopefully fun or engaging, important, helpful in different ways. And they're also there to help you know that you're not alone, that there are people here who care. There are people who have information about resources and can help you or help someone you love in the best ways that they can and guide you, in other ways that might be necessary. So providing that support and giving the community opportunities to connect and be together, especially after coming out of a pandemic where we were forced into isolation. And as a result of that, we are having to recover and repair the impact that that has caused on many different levels. So this next part of the video is really kind of a highlight reel of some of what took place last year and really could not have happened again without an exceptional number of organizations, businesses, elementary school, middle school, and high school students. Last year, over 100 students volunteered to help make some of those events happen. 240 adults from 104 different organizations and partnership groups made these events happen last year. That really, you can see my expression on my face, is just amazing. The work here continues to grow because in January of 2023, when I was tabulating my list of organizations so that I could make sure I thanked everyone, there were 90 organizations to thank. And last year I knew the work here had grown as word is getting out and people are experiencing the OCW and all that it is bringing this community through our community partnerships, through working with 12 sectors in this community, right? Business, civic, faith groups, health providers, law enforcement, local government, substance use treatment providers, youth, parents, youth workers, um, faith-based community. I mean, it is really more than a village. It is the whole town coming together to make this happen. Um, so enjoy the highlights, and we'll see you on the other side. We're going to take just a few minutes to highlight some of the fun community events that took place in 2023, starting with our spring window painting, which grew out of the pandemic. We have actually two window painting events that take place here in New Paltz, the spring window painting and the Halloween harvest window painting. And this was really an important and exciting program to provide the community and children and parents and families in the community at a time where people needed safe spaces to be outdoors, not in close proximity to one another, and give them a creative outlet. And we are so thankful to our businesses who generously donate the use of their storefront windows for our youth and adult artists to work with. We have our annual community picnic or barbecue that takes place in July. And again, post pandemic, right? So this is third annual. We're moving and looking forward to this year's fourth annual. And often we do it as a double header. So we have the picnic and barbecue slash with free games and so forth in the early evening hours, and then that moves usually into an outdoor movie night. And we have done a number of movie nights independent of the barbecue. It's always depending on the weather. We try to bring a couple a year. Last year, if you remember, we had, I think it was 10 weeks of rain in a row. So our movie nights, our rain dates got rained out. It was very sad. But we love bringing the movie nights to the community, and they're all free. Everything we do is free, including the popcorn. And new addition this year, well, it started last year in 2023, but we'll be continuing this year, is El Día de la Comunidad, which is a wonderful event bringing resources and service providers to members of the Spanish speaking community where everything is in Spanish. And we are really happy to partner with a number of organizations to help make that happen at Family of New Paltz. Our Recovery Fest event is incredibly important as well. We have been working a number of years to reduce shame and stigma, in particular around substance use and opioid use disorders, in addition, of course, to mental health challenges. And Recovery Fest is really dedicated to celebrating hope and help for all. And so we have people from all different walks of life, many different types of organizations, resources come together to make this really a special day for everybody. And as the flyer says, all are welcome. It's not just for people in recovery and their families, but it really is a place and a space to come together, to learn, to hear speakers in recovery share about the, the beauty and the hardships of recovery. And they deliver always, every year, a powerful message of hope and promise when it comes to utilizing resources and finding your way to recovery and recreating a life in recovery. A really exceptional event. And if you have not yet been, I hope that you can join us this year for the 7th annual. Holiday Hoopla was not that long ago, so I'm hoping it is fresh in your memory because I know that there were a lot of people there this year and it just continues to grow. It's hard to believe that this event started at the height of the pandemic and lockdown, where all we could do was grab a few people, town employees on the back of a town truck, some emergency responders, hula hoopers for humanity, and a couple of drummers with permission and clearance from the health department, handing out individually wrapped candy canes because that's all we could do, as well as some resource cards so that folks knew that there was help and support available to them. And we had no idea how long that pandemic was going to continue and the impact that it would have. But as it continued, so did we. We didn't give up. And each year we have continued to grow this event into a parade and a winter carnival. And it will continue into this year for our 5th annual. We're already working on it. So stay tuned. There's more fun on the way. I hope you were able to enjoy that little snippet of highlights from last year. And now this video is going to move into looking at social media outreach, an incredibly important part of the work here through the Office for Community Wellness. And that could not happen without the man behind the camera. As a department of one, I really appreciate Aaron. That's an understatement. Truly. Again, as a department of one, I really rely on all the help that I can get to make sure that things happen in the best ways possible here. And you can create amazing programming, but if people don't know what you're doing and don't know what's available, it's not going to help them. So as we look at some of the important data and highlights and things behind the scenes, I want to share this with you because this just shows the reach that is happening through the works of Aaron McCann and our social media outreach efforts. It's really something to see. Aaron came on board in the early part of 2021 as a result of funds that were made available to municipalities as a result of COVID-19. He began working with me very closely to create and produce video content that was shared on our Facebook page, New Paltz Community Wellness. As you can see it on this slide, in 2022, we reached 32,092 people, which was up 382% from 2021 in New Paltz. We had 25,038 views happening within a 5-mile radius of New Paltz, which was up 150% from 2021. But when we look at 2023's data, we reached in just 11 months 35,000 people. And then as part of all of the promotion and outreach for Holiday Hoopla, we reached in December nearly 24,000 additional people for a total of 58,000 plus on Facebook and Instagram. As you continue to look at this page, you will see how much specific areas have increased, like reach, up over 300%. Our followers, up 560%. And the views keep coming. So please be sure to check out our page. If you haven't yet seen it, here's what it looks like. Follow us, stay informed, stay connected, and take advantage of the many wonderful programs and important initiatives and offerings that are happening here through the Office for Community Wellness. As you know, the Office for Community Wellness is not just a department that plans events. My role here in the community is to also respond to crises and to help reduce the impact and the heartbreak that accompanies these crises, such as the opioid overdose epidemic that we have been dealing with for way too long. I am hoping that you have been able to take advantage of some of the resources, the trainings, and share that information to members of the community that are being provided free of charge through the Opioid Overdose Prevention and Response Team. We have here in New Paltz indoor and outdoor emergency Narcan stations that have the opioid overdose reversal medication naloxone in them, and are accessible. We have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365 website where people utilize our online training, and we either mail or deliver free Narcan kits and harm reduction supplies like fentanyl test strips, um, xylazine test strips. We are doing trainings for different employers. We are working with our partner, Ms. Jackie Cirillo at SUNY New Paltz and the SUNY New Paltz Campus PD to help do Narcan training and get resources everywhere we possibly can to impact this crisis and epidemic and do our best to help save lives in this community. You're going to be seeing some slides of what that has looked like in the last few years so that you can be informed of where we were and where we are. And as such, be able to help share that information in the community as well. We have, thanks to the help and support of our response team members, which if you go to the website now on your screen, you will be able to see just a host of resources that are available, whether it is reducing risk and access by utilizing free medication disposal, to Narcan training, to harm reduction supplies, to treatment resources, to recovery support resources. All of this is at your fingertips by going to Opioid Prevention NP for New Paltz, np.org. That website is utilized by hundreds of people from not just our region, but actually nationally and internationally. And then I send them to the proper resources that can help them at their location to the best of my ability. Not so good at international resources, but nationally there is a network that I'm able to help guide them to so that they can get their free naloxone. But it is really imperative that we continue to work together and do the best we can with the resources we have. So here we'll start looking at some of the data and also some of the resources that have been created and distributed throughout the community just in the past year. It's really something that the team is honored and proud to have accomplished. As I mentioned just a moment ago, we're going to take a few minutes to look at some of the data that's available to us through the Ulster County Department of Health. This data is collected and shared with the community and different prevention and response teams, such as the one here in New Paltz, to help us get an accurate understanding of what we are dealing with and also how effective our efforts are in our response. How are we doing? So you will see when you look at this chart here before us that in 2018, we lost 56 friends and family members due to an opioid overdose. That number was incredibly disturbing to all of us in the county. Ulster County government mobilized all of us who are working on this issue, and we came together as a team and started to strategize and look at best practices and implement them here in Ulster County. And we were seeing dramatic results. That number went down to 33 losses in 2019. And then in 2020, the pandemic hit and people were forced into isolation and dealing with extremely difficult circumstances that people had never experienced before. And our number of fatalities doubled, and they continued to increase through the pandemic. And what you'll see in looking at this, blue is for the number of non-fatal overdoses, and red is the number of fatalities. Our numbers were still higher than they were in 2018. We continued to work as hard as we could here in New Paltz and utilize as many different evidence-based practices and strategies that we could here. And you will see that starting in 2022 in our county, the number of non-fatal overdoses continued to increase, but the number of fatalities started to come down. And this was really important information. The harm reduction strategies we were using were working. And you can see that in this next slide here. The percentage of fatalities that occurred in 2018 was almost 19%. In 2019, that number decreased to almost 11%. But if you remember, so did the number of fatalities. There was a dramatic decrease from 56 in 2018 to 33 in 2019. With the rise of losses of life due to the pandemic, you see those percentages start to climb again. Still, though, not coming near the percentage they were in 2018. As a county, we were mobilized and we were using as much of the harm reduction supplies and strategies that we could. New Paltz was working extremely hard in that area, and I'll highlight the ways that we did that in just a moment. Those of us who are working on this issue are excited to see that our numbers are coming down. When you look at this next slide, you'll notice that there are 4 different color bars, each denoting a different geographic region of Ulster County. New Paltz is one of many municipalities that comprise the central and southern tier, shown here in yellow. Orange is the city of Kingston, gray is the northern part of the county, and blue is the western part of the county. As you look at this diagram, you will see that in 2020, the southern tier had the lowest rate of opioid overdose fatalities in Ulster County at 15%. But in 2021, that number dramatically increased to 34%, tied with the city of Kingston. Our numbers remained high in the central and southern tier. In 2022, they were at 31%, and they have remained high in 2023 at 33%. But what I would like to remind you is that New Paltz is again one of many municipalities that comprise the southern tier. So this graph does not say a lot about what New Paltz as a community has been experiencing and compared with our neighbors in the county. To get that information, we'll look to the next slide. As you look at this slide, you can see the number of opioid fatalities experienced in Esopus, Town of Lloyd, New Paltz, Plattekill, and Rochester. Esopus had 4 losses of life, Town of Lloyd 2, New Paltz 1, Plattekill 3, and Rochester 1. As you look at this slide, you'll be able to see how New Paltz compares with our neighboring surrounding communities of Esopus, Gardner, Lloyd, Plattekill, Rochester, and Rosendale. New Paltz is the yellow bar. Esopus is blue. Gardner is orange. Town of Lloyd is gray. Plattekill is a light blue. Rochester is green. And Rosendale is a dark blue. Please remember that this reflects those losses of life that occurred within our community, not those members of our community who may have experienced an overdose outside of Ulster County. They are counted differently. So it doesn't mean that there was only one person who died as a result of an opioid overdose in all of last year in New Paltz. That number may be higher The way this data is collected is through medical examiner reports of losses of life within our zip code. So that's an important thing to note. Members of our opioid overdose prevention and response team have been noticing the decrease that has been happening here. But I want to stress that does not mean we are slowing down in any way. We continue to increase our outreach efforts to get naloxone and other harm reduction supplies out into the community. We do everything we can to assess where there are gaps, how we can improve, so that we can keep those numbers going down. We are continuing to strive to do our very best to protect people here in this community. Part of how we do that is we have free on-the-spot Narcan training happening at different locations here in New Paltz. Between now and the farmers market on the third Tuesday of every month from 6 to 7 p.m., all you need to do is stop by the Steinberg Room at the Elting Memorial Library and get trained. Get a kit. You can pick up free harm reduction supplies. No questions asked. Just pop in and get trained. There's also on-the-spot Narcan training happening during the farmers market every Sunday from 10 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. And that happens starting in June right through till the end of October. There are multiple trainings happening, as I mentioned, on campus. And then we pick up the monthly trainings after the farmers market back at Elting Library. When you look at how many people that adds up to, last year, our on-the-spot free Narcan trainings at numerous community locations, we trained 126 people. We provided kits to 69 people through our emergency Narcan stations, and the website, the opioidprevention.np.org website, provided kits to an additional 43 individuals. Our partners on the SUNY New Paltz campus installed emergency Narcan stations in every residence hall, in addition to numerous locations on campus. They held monthly Narcan trainings on campus while classes were in session and provided numerous trainings for RAs, faculty, and other student groups. They trained 655 people on campus last year. So you can see that the New Paltz Opioid Overdose Prevention and Response Team is extremely active, working hard in this fight. As I mentioned to you earlier, our team strives to get as creative and innovative as possible when we look for different ways to improve our efforts and try to save lives here in New Paltz. One of those was the creation of our outdoor emergency Narcan stations, and we worked with the Bruderhof community to make that happen. We could not thank them enough for designing the prototype and then donating 10 units, 9 of which have already been installed, and you've seen them along the rail trail and other community locations here in New Paltz. This effort has inspired Ulster County to utilize this outdoor station and replicate it county-wide, utilizing the opioid overdose settlement monies that have been received by the county. And in conjunction with the Ulster County Department of Health and the Ulster County Sheriff's Oracle team, these units are now all over the county, and they are even moving beyond the county's borders to other counties here in the Mid-Hudson region. I'm hoping that as you look at this postcard, it will look familiar to you. It was mailed to over 7,000 homes here in the New Paltz zip code. One side contained all of the different resources, including the website address, to help people be able to utilize the resources available to them here and help us reduce the risk of an opioid overdose fatality in New Paltz. Again, if you have not yet gotten trained or do not have your kit, please get trained. This is an important part of the work being done through the Office for Community Wellness, and I'm committed to continuing to work with our partners to exhaust as many different resources and possibilities available to us in this struggle. Throughout this video, I've mentioned how important evidence-based practices, evidence-based programs are in the work that we do. And thanks to a grant received by the Health Alliance of the Hudson Valley, they are making available to communities like ours a number of different free evidence-based trainings for anyone older than 18 in this community, whether you're a parent professional, paraprofessional, grandparent, neighbor, coach, member of the clergy, or of a particular congregation. It doesn't matter. Everyone is welcome and encouraged to participate in one of these free trainings. We have our youth mental health first aid training coming up and being coordinated and sponsored by SUNY New Paltz on the dates provided on the flyer. Those are going to be happening soon in the month of February, 21st and 22nd, and another training on the 24th. We also have our adult mental health first aid training coming up on April 13th. And in May 21st and 23rd from 9 to 1, we have our trauma-informed care training that will be taking place here in New Paltz. All evidence-based trainings, all free to anyone 18 and older who would like to register. So please just reach out. You can get more information at our Facebook page, New Paltz Community Wellness, or you can reach out to me at the number here on the screen, 845-256-5014, and leave me a message if I'm not here and I'm out and about in the community, because I am someone who's on the move. And you understand why now, after having seen the diagram and watched this much of the video. You know that this place is hopping. So as this video comes to a close, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video and learn about this ever-changing and expanding department here, the Office for Community Wellness at the Town of New Paltz. As you can see, the work needs to grow and change as the needs of this community grow and change. And I am honored and fully committed to continue to do the best that I can and utilize the networks that I have been working with and cultivating all of these years in the field of prevention. I am excited about what is looking to be an amazing 2024 here as we continue to collect survey data and information from all of you on Thriving Together and that initiative and the kinds of programs and activities that you would like to see here in this community so that we can create free multi-generational programs of shared passion and purpose here, while also working on the other things that cause us heartbreak and the dedication that remains here as well in this community to reduce heartbreak and really make lives better. So thank you all, and please stay tuned and check out the names that are about to appear on your screen of all the different people and organizations and businesses and school clubs or activities that have helped make 2023 the best year ever for the OCW and this community. And it does keep getting better the more you get involved. So thanks, and I look forward to working with you in 2024. Take good care, everybody.